Your forefathers have more mental endurance than you and I today. And that is the reason for so many mental health problems nowadays. Not that they do not have difficult times, not that they do not have times when things are hard for them, but they're able to manage it better. They have a better mental endurance than we have today. And why is it that we have less mental endurance? It's because of the modern life that we live today. There is modern stimulation. We have social media, we have video games, we have music, we have all sorts of constant stimulation that brings us cheap rewards. And then our brain feels like rewards needs to come quickly. Our brain feels like we don't need to wait patiently to get things. Our brain feels like we need to always get stimulated at every instance. And when there is no stimulation, when we're in difficult times with no entertainment, when we are facing challenges, our brain goes haywire. We tend to become more anxious. We tend to become more depressed. Not because not because things are actually dangerous, not because things are actually catastrophic, but because our brain has not learned to be patient and endure things and let the outcome come gradually. Our brain has been calibrated to feel like we need to be constantly entertained. Our brain has been wired to feel like we need to be constantly stimulated. And when there is no form of entertainment, no form of stimulation, then we feel like there is a problem. We feel like there is a threat. Mind you, our brain wasn't designed to have constant forms of stimulation and entertainment. Our brain is meant to be having ups and downs of enjoyment and challenges so that there will be a balance. But nowadays, we don't seem to want to experience boredom at all. We don't seem to want to be in times when there is no stimulation. We don't seem to want to be in times when there is no enjoyment. We are always seeking enjoyment. We are always seeking stimulation. We are always seeking entertainment. We are always seeking pleasure. We are always seeking fun. But we do not give our brain enough time to recalibrate, to rest, and balance itself. So our brain feels like, okay, we need to always be entertained. We need to always be having enjoyment. We need to always be stimulated. And when there is no form of stimulation, entertainment, enjoyment, or pleasure, our brain senses danger. It feels like something dangerous about to happen. There is no stimulation. There is no fun. There is no enjoyment. This must be really catastrophic. And that is when we feel anxious. That is when our brain goes into survival mode. That is when we feel depressed because there is no form of stimulation at all. But mind you, your brain doesn't need that much amount of entertainment and enjoyment. Your brain needs time where it needs to experience difficulties and look for ways around it to solve the problems. And this is the only way your brain can be balanced. If you are always having stimulation, enjoyment, and pleasure, then your brain will always seek pleasure. Your brain will always seek entertainment. Your brain will always seek enjoyment. And then in the absence of that, you become anxious, you become depressed. Maybe the only thing you need to get your focus back on your life, maybe the only thing you need to get a better discipline in life, maybe the only thing you need to get for your mental health is just taking away constant stimulation and enjoyment. Allow your brain to have boredom. Allow your brain to have periods where there is no enjoyment at all. Allow your brain to think. Allow your brain to be in silence and be introspective. Allow your brain to be mindful so that you can now think about ways of solving that difficult times. Your brain doesn't need to always be entertained. You don't need to always be stimulated. You don't need to always have fun and enjoyment. Your brain needs time. It needs time away from this constant stimulation that you're putting yourself in. Our ancestors, it's not that they do not have difficult times and challenges, but why are they not always depressed and anxious? It's because they don't have any form of stimulation. So when they're having boredom, when they're having hard and difficult times, they stay there, they are present, and they actually devise ways of getting ahead of these problems. They devise ways of getting ahead of these challenges and difficult times. Because of course, there is no way to escape boredom back then. They just sit by themselves, spend time with their loved ones, and then along the line, there will be ways of coming out of these challenges. But nowadays, you and I, When we have little problem, when we have little challenges, we tend to seek enjoyment, we seek pleasure, we seek stimulation. So that we are going on to social media to stimulate ourselves from content, or we are playing video games, or just listening to loud, fast music, or eating junk food, or taking substances. I know some people will be watching this video and they'll be like, okay, if they are not actually scrolling, how would they come about my video? Yes, I used to be like you some time back. I used to be a content or a social media addict. I would usually scroll for more than 10, 15 hours in a day. What am I looking for? I don't know. I just keep scrolling and scrolling. And the more I scroll, the less satisfied I become until I get onto this primal movement, until I actually discovered what it means to be primal. Being primal is not that you are not enjoying, it's not that you are not having entertainment, but you are enjoying it from real life activities. The moment I step back from social media, constant stimulation, from video games, from music, from junk food, I realize that there is more enjoyment to life than these modern things we call enjoyment. There's still books for you to read. You can still take a walk. You can still spend time with your loved ones. You can still go out there and talk to people. You can still take a walk. You can still meditate. You can still be mindful. You can still journal. You can still write your thoughts. Where did all these things go? Now that we have constant stimulation and constant scrolling on social media, video games, and loud fast music, we have a way of escaping reality. And that is why we're having more mental health problems. The moment you try to escape from boredom, you try to escape from your anxiety, you try to escape from your childhood trauma, you try to escape from real life difficult challenges, the more anxious you become, the more problematic your life will become. You've not seemed to understand how insidious this modern life, entertainment, and constant pleasure is until you are into that loop. Then you understand better. The moment I took a step back, the moment I stepped out of constant instant stimulation, I realized that there's more to life than instant enjoyment. The moment I become mindful, the moment I start meditating and journaling, I realized that even these constant forms of stimulation is not even doing me any good at all. It's making me more anxious and depressed day by day. And I'm having less mental endurance. I can't focus on my work anymore because my attention is fragmented. I have low attention span. I can't focus on my family and friends. I can't do things that are meaningful because I usually have constant instant forms of pleasure and stimulation. Until I took a step back from all these forms of entertainment before I realized that there is more to life to enjoy than constant and instant stimulation and enjoyment. And that is what we usually preach here. I've made videos about this times and times. Every now and then I will make videos about taking a step away, staying away from constant instant stimulation. Not because I like to make repetitive videos, but because I want to ingrain this idea, because I want to implant this primal movement onto you that is watching me. So if you watch the video this far, then it means this kind of message actually resonates with you. Welcome to the tribe.